Hello everyone, Stephen here. Thank you for joining me in today's discussion on how to take the best picture of your corals and also to successfully find a new home for them. Now before we start, if you enjoy my content and wish to see more reef aquarium related discussions, please help support me by liking, sharing this video, and subscribing to the channel. I also love to hear from you, so please feel free to comment or post your questions below. I've been a professional photographer for the last, I'd say 20 years, but I really worked on it for 10 years, and then in between for the other 10 years, kind of like on and off. So I know my way around the camera. I actually got my degree in art. I do not currently work in the art industry, but I enjoy art and photography both very much. So taking pictures from my tank actually brings back a lot of old memories, and it gives me a chance to kind of play with my equipment and how I want to photograph things. So first of all, to start with equipment, you don't really need like a fancy state-of-the-art equipment to take good reef photographies. I have taken most of my photos simply using my iPhone, and likewise, if you have any other brand smartphone, I'm sure all of them are capable of doing so. As of late, I have been supplementing my content with video footages using a GoPro camera. So if you're interested in making some underwater photos or footage, please do not dunk your phone into the water, even if they claim to be either water resistant or waterproof. They're not. The second thing that you're gonna need outside of a good camera or your phone is a lens filter. This is almost a must-have if you wish to achieve the same bright level that you typically see in other online retailers displaying in their corals. The reason why they and myself are able to extract the coral's vivid color is 100% lens filter. Is this cheating? No, absolutely not. You see, in digital cameras, the photo sensors come in the form of millions of receptors units, and each of these units contains 4 quadrants, and each quadrant is responsible in capturing one of the 3 primary colors: red, green, and blue. Hold on, I just said 4 quadrants, but there are 3 primary colors. So what happened to the 4th one? Well, there you have it. The 1 extra quadrant is also assigned to blue. So the end result is having a red dot, a green dot, and 2 blue dots. So naturally, all of your digital photography is going to have a kind of like a bluish tone to them, unless most cameras have a built-in white balancing adjuster. But even with that, because of 1 extra blue receptor, your camera is always going to gear toward blue, especially when we're having more blue light in our reef aquarium. So what does the filter do? Well, the orange filter actually functions as a blocker for the blue light. So it blocks away all the excess blue light to allow you to see the true color of the coral that our naked eyes actually see. Therefore, I don't consider it cheating. It's more like bringing back the truth. Now, the number 3 item that I think a lot of people may be interested in, you don't have to have this, but it certainly is helpful, is a macro lens. If you're using your smartphone, you can easily obtain a clip-on macro lens to allow you to go all the way in to show off those tiny stone coral polyps. If you're using a DSLR or a GoPro, you can still purchase or obtain a macro lens, although I think those are a little bit pricier on this equipment. Now that you've got all your weapons, your camera, your filter, and the macro, so what do? Well, first of all, obviously photography is all about lighting. So in general, the online coral retailers take their photos under a lot of blue light with the clip-on filter. So if it's not for all the blue lights, the corals actually wouldn't pop. The blue light actually helps the color pop. So retailers with a little bit more ethics will actually sometimes display the same coral under various lightings. The ones that I found does that is Tidal Gardens. And so if you're looking to achieve the maximum color intensity, crank up your blue and clip on the orange filter. Angles. Now a lot of people are satisfied with the side view or to illustrate the coral size on how many branches and any color morphs from the base to the tip. But if you're a seasoned reefer, you know the best angle to look at the tank is actually from the top. So I'd always recommend including a top-down shot to complement your side shot, especially for LPS corals. Third is Frags versus the mother colony. So a lot of the times, you will see the coral have like a gradation of 3 or 4 different colors in the mother colony, but in a frag, it's probably only like 1 or 2 colors. It's not the best representation of what the potential could be. So if you're afraid of either misleading or not showing people enough of what this frag could be, it's always a good idea to include a picture of the mother colony in your listing so that people can compare what is right now and what it may become. Lastly, if you don't have an underwater camera and you want to take either like upside down or a top view photos, then you probably want to make sure that you either get one of those floating devices where you can eliminate the water ripple or just cut the water flow off while you take the picture. Now, there are some miscellaneous best practices that I would recommend while you're making a listing. So, some of them include take photos when you know your coral's polyps are the fullest and most extended. For some reason, a lot of people like to believe that coral polyp extension is a sign of health, even though they aren't always the best indicator and it's not always true. And secondly, you want to always clean the algae off of it if needed. It just makes things look cleaner and make it look better. And then if there's any pests, like Aptasia or flatworms, if you have pests, you probably should be selling them to begin with. Some pests are easier to deal than the others, like Aptasia, you can either just brush off or use Aptasia eggs to kill it, and then the buyer won't be taking it home with. But if you have flatworm, you really shouldn't be selling it. Also, once you cut the frag, you probably want to wait for 3 to 5 days minimum before you sell them. It's just a common courtesy, so the frag actually stays adhere to the frag plug and doesn't go anywhere while in transport. And then obviously you don't want to lie about the size, the color, the species, or the nickname of the coral. If you do not know, just say you don't know, because a good photo will speak for itself. A lot of buyers are probably have pretty good knowledge of the coral industry anyways. When they see a frag, they know what it is. You don't even have to label it, and they will come bid after it. Some advanced aquarists will also want to know your current lighting, water flow, etc. to ensure smooth and safe transitions. It's always a good idea to volunteer this information ahead of time, because personal experience, there's been times that I have back and forth, all these private messages and emails, just all these people asking miscellaneous questions. So I made it a standard practice that I always volunteer this information from now on. And lastly, do your research on pricing. With so many retailers online available, it's really not difficult to find a piece that is comparable to yours in both size and color, or the rarity. While you don't want to grossly underprice your frag, that's also not making an opportunity to rip off some of the less experienced newbies in the aquarium hobby. We're all here as a community. We want to help each other out, and we want to help the community to grow in a healthy way. Personally, I do this for fun, so I typically price my frags at about 30 to 50% less than what a regular retail is, considering that I don't have the store rental, I don't have the staff, the overhead, but I still have the basic. I have to pay my light bill, I have to pay for the calcium or the additives and the food that I feed to the coral. So there's a trade-off. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. I hope people can appreciate it. But at the same time, I feel that most of the time when I offer a frag, it is a good deal. I would love to hear your stories and your thoughts on sharing your experiences in selling your frags. What are some of the do's, don'ts, really good experiences? If you've ever found like a treasure, or if you ever found, or if there were misleading posts where you thought you were getting something really good and it turned out to be a garbage. Please comment below and let's have a discussion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.